If you're looking for the ultimate chauffeur-driven Toyota, then look no further than this. This is the new generation Toyota Alphard, which now comes on a new platform with a new engine, a new powertrain, and a whole bunch of new active safety systems inside and out, and convenience features to boot. All of that for a little over $500,000. Well, we're going to take a quick walk around of Toyota's new luxury van. My name is AIMAN ABDULLAH. This is Malaysian Motoring. This is our very quick walk around of the 2023 Toyota Alphard Executive Lounge. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, we have to first start with the powertrain. So the Alphard has lost its V6 engine and in its place a 2.4-litre turbocharged unit which produces 275 horsepower and 430 Newton-meters of torque. Power goes to the front wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Now, in addition to this new powertrain, Toyota has also remapped the throttle control unit in order to make these cars feel a little bit more brawny, a little bit stronger out on the motorway, and make full use of that 430 Newton-meters of torque, which is spread out over a very wide band. And, well, it should also aid with fuel consumption, but we'll see. And then, of course, we have to touch on styling. So obviously the new Alphard is based off of a new TNGA platform, which means for the first time the Alphard is actually built in a monocoque construction versus body on frame like all previous generations. As a result, it is lighter, it is stronger, and it provides better torsional rigidity, which means that it should also be more comfortable and more quiet, or at least that's what Toyota claims. But on top of that new platform, you'll also find a brand new body, which, as far as I'm concerned, now makes the Alphard look significantly better than every previous generation. It looks like a van, but it's a much nicer looking van. And of course, there has been a play of complex surfacing down the side in order to make this look a little bit less bulky. Aiding this, of course, is this chrome strip, which it shares with the Velfire. But of course, you get Alphard scripting here because it is an Alphard. You also get 19-inch alloy wheels done up in a dual-tone design. Now, what I find very interesting is that the Alphard uses Michelin Primacy tires, SUV-grade tires at that, whereas the Velfire uses Dunlops, which is interesting. Now, from my experience, the Michelin should be quieter while still providing adequate wet and dry performance. And of course, we hope to get these cars on test to figure that out, although I highly doubt it. Now, at the rear, the Alphard gets unique rear LED taillights which mirror the design of the LED headlights, which have like a little sort of diamond scale pattern, which I think is quite nice. And as far as I'm concerned, it does make this car look significantly more elegant compared to the more sporty Velfire, if you can call a Velfire sporty. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the back of the Alphard gets its own unique LED taillight design, which looks a little bit more elegant, and where the Velfire has a full-width LED light strip, instead here we get chrome, because it's a little bit more elegant, apparently. Now, behind this enormous barn door, there is a button over there, but I prefer the button on the side. You will find that there is a pretty good amount of room. Unfortunately, they are somewhat impeded by the fact that the third row seats continue to be the type that fold upwards instead of folding into the floor. This is a massive oversight, I think, because if this was folded to the floor, it'd be a lot more practical and you'd have a lot more usable space here, but there we are. Some things remain that way, I guess. Now, when these seats are folded down, you can actually slide them fore and aft depending on how much legroom or cargo space you need, and of course you can adjust the recline angle ever so slightly. Weirdly, these two seats are actually supposed to sit 3 people abreast, which means the third person will have to have a little fold seam down through their arse. Now, the interior of the Alphard, in terms of overall design, is very similar to what we've seen from the Velfire, except the specifications have been tweaked ever so slightly to make this car feel a little bit more elegant, a little bit more premium. So instead of just black plastic, we now get plastic wood, which actually looks quite awful. But more importantly, you get this lovely beige and brown and black interior, which I think looks very, very upmarket indeed. I also like the sort of dark bronze accents that we seem to get about the place, because I think, again, it helps make this car look and feel a little bit more upmarket. What also aids in terms of making this car feel more premium is in terms of tech, because we now get a full digital instrument cluster up ahead, as well as a massive central screen. We're replete with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, obviously, and it even has these little digital gauges, very similar to what we've seen from Jaguar Land Rover in the past, which again help to make everything feel a little bit more plush and premium in fitting with its price. Now, one key difference is actually in terms of the steering wheel controls, because here the controls are somewhat touch sensitive. So these touch sensitive buttons work together with a heads-up display, which means instead of having preset uses, when you put your finger on them, they actually change what their functionality is depending on context, and you'll be able to see them in your heads-up display, so you'll never have to move your hands off of the steering wheel and your eyes off of the road, which is interesting. What is also interesting is the fact that these two front seats are powered and ventilated, and the steering wheel remains heated, which is odd. But more importantly, there are a duplicitous number of controls. You have controls here for the power door and power boot. You have controls here for the power door and power boot. You also have controls for the rear seats in order to move them fore and aft. You even have controls for the roof shade and the side shades, should the person in the back really not be bothered to, flick a switch. You do at least get the JBL audio system. Oh, and the Panasonic Nano system. This will be where the majority of Alphard customers will be spending their time, which is why Toyota has lavished the rear end of this cabin with a lot of attention. So these seats are fully powered. They power fore and aft. They also have powered backrest, powered ottoman, and they're even ventilated and heated. So all the controls you need are right here. My cup holder has moved here because on this side, I now have, if I find a way to open this and not lose this telephone, a table which folds out in a manner, there we go, which folds out and reveals a vanity mirror if you're vain, or of course you just have a table with which you can work on. Now with this table in place, you can also put, for example, a laptop here and charge them via the 3-pin socket. And if you should so want to, you can probably plug that laptop into the HDMI port and then watch whatever you want on this screen. Of course, if you can't be bothered to use cables, this system comes replete with Mirrorcast, which means that it's even easier than ever before to display items from your mobile devices up onto this rear screen and enjoy the entertainment. Now, if I put this table away, and this phone, which I will get to in a moment, really wants to be the center of attention. That's why it keeps falling out. Now, the phone. This, you get one of these on either seat. This controls every functionality back here. That includes the climate control, the lights, the sunshades, adjusting the seats, and the audio and Mirrorcast system. Everything is controlled through here. And of course, they are charged via a little dock here. If you don't want to hold them, you can leave them in there. If you'd rather move them, if for example you're in a reclined position, you can't be able to get back up and reach for the phone, you just pull it out. Now, this is not a Samsung tablet of any variety like we've seen from the back end of a BMW 7 Series. Instead, this is bespoke to Toyota. You will not find any sort of weird OS in here that you could probably override. This is specifically for the car. And I think that this is no doubt the plushest item or plushest specification I've ever seen in the back of a luxury van. Now, speaking of the back of luxury vans, as I mentioned, there are actually 3 seats back there. And if you were to move this seat into a slightly more reasonable position, which it apparently does automatically, or not. Does this go any further? No, this is about as far as it goes. So even here, while I have acres of legroom and of course plenty of headroom, there is now also an absolute palatial amount of room behind me. But of course, that's not what this is for. No, no, you want to sit back, lean back, and you want the ottoman up for sure, because that's exactly how you want to travel in the back of one of these things, right? Oh, there's sunshades, obviously. Now, even though the Alphard will primarily be used as a chauffeur-driven limousine, it is still chock full of safety systems because this car comes as standard with Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, that being the brand's latest and greatest suite of active safety systems. As a result, this car has radar-guided cruise control, AEB, traffic jam assist, blind spot monitoring, lane keep and lane centering assist, driver attention warning, rear cross traffic alert, as well as a variety of other systems that I cannot be bothered to mention in full. But needless to say, this car is very well equipped indeed. Now we get onto the matter of price. Now the car comes with a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty, replete with some degree of service packaging, but it's still going to cost 538,000 ringgit. And that is a lot of money for a van. And so concludes our walk around of the 2023 Toyota Alphard Turbo Executive Lounge. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell icon to be notified every time we make a new upload. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. All the links are in the description below, including the link to join our new WhatsApp channel, where you'll be able to get updates directly from us. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Take care and stay safe.